Lemonada.
Running a small business means I wear lots of hats. When I put on my hiring hat, I can count on LinkedIn Hiring Pro to make it easy. LinkedIn Hiring Pro helps manage my hiring workflow, puts my job post in front of a unique network of professionals, and matches me with the best candidates for my business. I can also share my job with my network. No other job site lets me do that. No wonder most small businesses say they'd use LinkedIn Hiring Pro again. Hire right the first time. Post your job for free on LinkedIn today at linkedin.com/quality.
The new Red Bull Dragonberry Energizer is now at McDonald's. Made with freeze-dried dragon fruit. And made to lock in. The all-new Energizer, now at McDonald's.
Hello, we are here for More Happier, a podcast where we get happier. Join us for some weekend listening. It's observations and reflections with a looser vibe. Hey, Elizabeth.
Hi, Gretch.
This week we'll talk about a tattoo-related subject, and I will also explain why I feel like I'm a character from one of my favorite children's novels. But first, something making us happier. Elizabeth, what is something making you happier?
Well, Gretch, what's making me happier is this whole thing we have going on the podcast with things we don't know.
Oh, God. Yes.
We're having listeners send us all of these things that they didn't know or that you should know that none of us know how we know, like the basic example being that you shouldn't put metal in a microwave.
Yes.
We all know that. How do we know that?
Or like, I didn't know the heuristic of how you know what floor, like in an office building, if it's 2414, I didn't know that meant it was on the 24th floor.
Yes.
I didn't know that rule.
Yes. And I didn't know it until you told me some years after you learned.
And this is the beauty of the list, right? Everybody's finding out so much.
Yes, but it's just so fun to read all these things.
Oh, yes.
On the bananas front, for instance, somebody had written in that you may not know that you don't have to buy a whole bunch of bananas. You can just tear off the number of bananas you want. I did not know that. And so until someone wrote in, and sure enough, Adam and I were at the grocery store the other day. And bananas are an issue, right? Because they do get overripe quite quickly. And so it's like if you buy bananas, then there's this pressure to eat them as fast as you can.
Yes.
So he was looking at the bananas and I said, you know, you don't have to buy the whole bunch of bananas. You could just buy two. And he's like, really? He didn't know that either. He thought, like me, that you had to buy a whole bunch. And we always just thought, oh, some bunches are smaller than others. Yes. Well, why? Because people go around clearly and tear off what they want.
Yes.
So I'm just to say that I'm putting into practice already things that people are letting us know about.
Well, and it's funny how once something's pointed out, you think, well, that's obvious, but you wouldn't necessarily have known it. Somebody was saying, usually on a street, the addresses on one side of the street are even, and on the other side of the street, they're odd. And if you know that, you just instinctively know that. But I could see that somebody just might not notice that. So it's super helpful to read this list because there's all kinds of things that I'm sure some people are like, this is so obvious. Where have you been? What rock have you been under? But this thing about the banana turns out to be quite the revelation.
By the way, Gretchen, one thing we talked about was that all cars have spare tires.
Right.
Apparently, we've heard from people that is not the case anymore. Not all cars have spare tires. So you need to know if your car has a spare tire or a tire inflating kit.
The other thing that I wondered about is the whole fob thing that somebody said, oh, even if your fob isn't working, there's a spare key in your fob. And I'm like, well, I want to look at that on our fob and make sure that is true for us because it feels like, well, maybe that's true sometimes, but not always. But it even gives you the idea, like, maybe it's true. The person about the spare tire had no idea this was a thing at all for any cars. I didn't know that any car key fobs had a key in them. So at least gives you something to investigate in your own life.
Yes.
But so, Elizabeth, we are getting so many of these. We're going to do another episode on it because there's so many of them. And I just think everybody loves them. I've asked on social media, send more in if you have more. But this is what I think we should do, Elizabeth. I would love to have it be a repeating feature. Like, we always talk about Happier Labor Day, or we talk about Design Your Summer, or we talk about Halfway Day. I would love to have a day, but here's the question. And listeners, this is your creative challenge. It would be fun if there was a day that made sense. We could just pick an arbitrary day, but Halfway Day is July 2nd because that's literally the halfway day. With MIT, when they release their admissions letters to the new crop of students that they're admitting, they always do it on Pi Day.
Yes.
In March.
Which makes sense.
It's MIT. It's so on brand for them. It shows a sense of humor. And it's like, oh, that's fun. May 4th being the Star Wars Day.
Yes. What would be a fun day?
But what is the day for this? Obvious Day, or Things You Didn't Know Day, or How Do People Know Things Day, or Clueless Day, or Under a Rock Day, or what? I don't know, but I can't think of anything. But I would love to have this be a repeated feature. We could just pick a day and kind of a month that needs some little whimsy to brighten it up. But if we could think of a tie-in, I think that would be super fun.
Okay, yes. Well, I have a feeling someone will write in with the perfect thing.
We can all learn from each other. And I feel like I have learned a lot. One of the listeners had said she had to tell her teenager, you can't go into a garage with your car running and sit there answering emails on your phone. That's very dangerous. And she's like, that's actually really important advice. So some of these are fun and little, like the one about the bread tags from our cousin Sarah. But some of them are extremely important. The one about don't put nail polish on a burner to heat it up because the bottle will explode. Yeah. So keep them coming and let us know if you can think of a good date.
Yes. Okay, Gretch, what about you? What is making you happier?
Well, Chuck, you're making me happier because you suggested the Rowenta Ultra Quiet Desk Fan.
Oh, well, I'm glad it's working out for you.
Yes. Okay. So to set the scene of why this Rowenta Ultra Quiet Desk Fan is so important to me, I record in my little home office in New York City. It was where a water tower was. So it's at the top of the building. It's a lovely, tiny room. It's got windows on 3 sides. It gets hot very, very fast. It also cools down very fast, which is good, but it gets hot, very, very hot, very, very fast. My air conditioner is quite noisy. And so when we are recording the podcast, I don't like to have the air conditioner going because Chuck can take the sound out, but then my voice sounds different. It sounds better if there's just no air conditioner. But then my office gets really hot. Sometimes to the point sweat is dripping down my face. And I'm really uncomfortable. You've seen me, Elizabeth, right? Like I'm getting redder and redder.
Yes, you wilt.
The hairs is just wet.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. But the thing is, fans are often very noisy, so I didn't even think about getting a fan. And then Chuck said, hey, there is this fan that you might try. And I will post a link in the show notes to anybody who might need something like this. It actually has a silent mode. So it's pretty quiet all the time, but it even has a mode where it's even more quiet. And it makes a difference. Yeah, it's still really hot, but I have a quiet breeze blowing on me, and it's made me a lot more comfortable. I didn't know that such a thing existed. I hadn't even done any research. I just didn't know to look for it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. So, Chuck, you've made me very happy because it gets hot. It gets very, very hot in this office very fast.
A little thing can make such a big difference in your life. It's like when Adam had the idea that I could put a card table in front of my wall.
Yes.
And change my background from the door to my nice wall with all the photos.
Yeah.
It had been bothering me for years that I had such an ugly Zoom background and it just so quickly changed. So a little thing can make a big difference.
So many complicated solutions that, you're going to buy a screen and you'll move it back and forth and this and that. And it's like, no, just flip. Brilliant.
I'm a lover of card tables, fans, all the things that make life better.
Yeah, love a card table.
All right, Gretch, coming up, there's something I've been meaning to ask you, but first, this break. One thing we have realized is that most people don't fail at their health goals because they don't know what to do. We all know we're supposed to eat better, move more, get enough sleep. The hard part is actually sticking with it. That's where accountability makes all the difference. Promising yourself you'll do something is one thing. Knowing someone else is going to check in with you every day, that is a whole different level of motivation.
That is exactly what My Body Tutor is built around. Instead of trying to figure it out all on your own, you get a real personal coach who checks in with you every single day to help keep you on track. And I've known founder Adam Gilbert and My Body Tutor for years, so I know how much thought has gone into building a program that helps people actually follow through. Visit mybodytutor.com/happier for $50 off your first month of coaching. That's mybodytutor.com/happier for $50 off your first month of coaching. This message comes from Harvard Business School Executive Education. Now is the time to invest in yourself and change the world with your voice. Our programs connect you with faculty at the forefront of their fields, introduce you to a global network of leaders, and help you step into your full potential. The next chapter is yours. Let us help you write it. Apply today to accelerate your future. Learn more at hbs.me/accelerate. That's hbs.me/accelerate. I've been trying to say yes more to little adventures. Nothing huge, just getting out of the routine and going somewhere different for the day. And it really makes you appreciate having a car that feels solid and comfortable, where you're not thinking about the drive, you're just focused on where you're going. That's what stood out to me about the Defender. It has that rugged design, but it also feels really thoughtful inside. And I like that there's a full lineup, from the 2-door 90 to the 110 and the 130 with seating for up to 8. So it really fits different kinds of plans.
And it's built with those durable, purposeful materials so you can actually use it without worrying about every little thing. It also has features that make driving feel easier, like ClearSight technology and the Pivot Pro system, so you can keep track of where you're going and everything you want to listen to along the way. Plus, with up to 89 cubic feet of cargo space and available 3 rows, it gives you a lot of flexibility depending on what you're bringing with you. Explore the full Defender lineup at LandRoverUSA.com.
Okay, Alicia, there's something you've been meaning to ask me. What is this question?
All right, Gretchen. Well, you recently wrote about tattoos. You wrote about how Eliza, your daughter, got a tattoo and it was distressing to you, but you realized it's not that big a deal and you had to get over it.
Yeah.
And so that made me wonder, if you got a tattoo, which you wouldn't, what would it be?
Well, first I wanted to say, I understand that many, many, many people get tattoos. Many, many, many people love tattoos. I am not saying that nobody should get a tattoo. I'm not saying that Eliza shouldn't get a tattoo. I'm just saying I personally do not like tattoos.
I don't either.
Okay, so your question is, it's still a very interesting question because it's such a commitment. I think it is interesting to see what people choose because this isn't like your one-word theme for the year and you're buying a bracelet.
Right.
This is a commitment. Okay. Elizabeth, what would you get?
Well, I actually have an answer to this because I always have said, by the way, this will show you how not into tattoos I am because what I'm going to get is very small. But I always said to Sarah, if we get a show and it gets 100 episodes, I would get a C tattoo.
Wow.
Because obviously C is 100, Roman numeral 100, and C stands for craft. So it kind of is a perfect tattoo. But it would be very small and subtle, and I doubt anyone would even, frankly, notice it except me.
Where would you put it?
Somewhere probably on my arm, upper arm, I think. Just because, I don't know. Or somewhere where it could always be covered. I don't know. That is a good question. I haven't even gotten so far as to think about where I would get it. But it would not be large. I'd say it would be smaller than a quarter.
Okay.
Significantly smaller.
Okay. It would almost just be like a secret thing that only you would know about.
Yes, exactly. But I would know it was there.
Right.
And I will do that should we ever get to 100 episodes.
Okay, good.
But what about you?
My first thought was J plus G for wedding anniversary. I like that that's a milestone moment and it's also an identity thing. What would it be? I don't know because I would feel like it's just such a commitment. But I like the idea that it's so small that only you know it's there. That's kind of fun because, in our apartment, we have all these secret things. We have a secret room room. It's very small, a secret closet, I guess I should say. We have these secret drawers. We have this faux painted fireplace mantelpiece that has our initials kind of secretly woven into it. So I am a big fan of secret things. Jamie also does not like tattoos, but he was half joking, but I think he was also half serious. He has said to me several times, maybe I'll get a tattoo for the Knicks championship win. I mean, it's that big a deal to him. I was like, this is just a thing that happened this year. And he's like, what are you talking about? This is the biggest thing of all time. He's thinking about marking this moment, which, you know, as a lifelong Knicks fan, is something that he's wanted his whole life. But I don't think he'll really do it. But it's kind of fun to think, oh, well, what would, if you were going to do it, what would the image be? Would it be the logo? Would it be the championship, the statuette? Would it be, I'm sure there's like a million possibilities.
I feel like the Knicks have such a specific logo that that's what I would imagine him getting.
Yeah, with like a 26 on it or something too, to mark that it's the championship.
Yeah.
Well, and this is the thing where, yes, it's a commitment, but then you can say, but you can take it in so many different directions. It can be a celebration. It can be to remember somebody who's gone. It can be, you have friends who have a family tattoo, right?
Yes, a couple of different friends have family tattoos, and that is fun. Like, one family has a Celtic knot because they have an Irish background. My friend Mike, who died, but before he died, his mom is an artist, and she had created a tattoo that represented each of the 5 members of their nuclear family, and they all had that tattoo. And that I loved. Okay, so I will say there are exceptions. I love the family tattoo. If our family wanted to get a tattoo, I could see going for that.
Which they wouldn't, but you see that it's a cool idea.
Yes. And obviously, culturally, a lot of cultures have tattoos and have forever.
Yeah.
And that's its own thing.
And that's its
what
own
you and I don't like is the fashion tattoo, I guess is what I would say.
Well, yeah, just the permanence of it. I always feel like, what if you change your mind or whatever?
Well, my thing is tattoos themselves change a lot in terms of what is in fashion. So it really does mark a time. And I guess maybe people are fine with that. But the trends change, which again is one of the reasons it's risky, because 30 years from now, are you going to like the trend that was happening when you got your tattoo?
Time will tell.
Yes, indeed. Okay, Gretch, what is our spotlight on a tool?
Yes. So this tool is an article that I published. I hear from a lot of people that this was something that was really useful to them. It's an article called How to Be a Happier, Calmer Parent, 16 Things to Try Instead of Yelling. So we're entering into the back to school season. And so I thought it would be fun to share it again. You could be the parent of little kids. You could be the parent of teenagers. You could be the parent of young adults. These are very practical ideas that you can use right away. And it's at happiercast.com/parenting. And it's just something that seems to have struck a chord with people over the years. So I thought I would bring it back.
Gretch, I feel like our parents never yelled at us. They were very calm parents. And I find myself yelling quite often. And I am not proud of it. Now, of course, I think I was never doing anything wrong, so nobody needed to yell at me.
That's the thing, Alyssa. You and I were such perfect children. Why would anybody ever need to yell at us? It's just unthinkable. Little rays of sunshine all the time.
Well, that's right. Anyway, yeah, I think being a calmer parent is something I need to focus on.
Side note on you and being calm, I just have to share the flashback of the funniest thing that has ever happened to me in my life. It was an April Fool's Day prank. Maybe this was the reason that I've grown to have such love for an April Fool's Day prank. This is when you were in peak primping for high school. You know where I'm going with this. A lot of time to get ready in the morning.
Back when I spritzed my babies.
My gosh. Oh, and the outfit. And there's just that period that people go through where they just take some really long time to get ready. In fact, I've seen arguments that one of the reasons that it's good to move the time that school starts later in the day is they're like, if you have a kid who has a very long bus ride and you have somebody who's doing a lot of primping, they will get up at like 4 a.m. You think you can't get a teenager out of bed. They will get up at 4 a.m. if they have to do it. Anyway, but I digress. But so our father, who rarely did things like this, I would say, he would josh a lot, but actually he went into you and he just said, oh my gosh, Elizabeth, we've all overslept. You only have 10 minutes to get ready. Because he would drive us. At that time, he was driving us to school and dropping us off because we got to leave in 10 minutes. You got to get up and ready. And I mean, you levitated out of the bed, scrambling in the air like a cartoon character. Stuff was flying. You were yelling. Everything was just pandemonium. And then he said, April Fools. It's the same time as always. Oh my gosh. You were yelling then. That was hilarious.
That was funny. It was like a Wile E. Coyote moment.
Totally Wile E. Coyote.
Springing out of bed. I was panicking.
He was such a softie, though.
Yeah.
He caved right away. He could not keep up the bit.
Yes, it was very.
And he saw how upset you were.
Very funny. And it showed, he knew me well because he knew
well.
that would really get me.
But he knew he had to drop it right away or he would really hold a grudge.
Yes. Yes. Oh, it was so funny.
It was so funny.
All right, Gretch, coming up, there's something you've been meaning to tell me, but first, this break.
This message comes from Harvard Business School Executive Education. Now is the time to invest in yourself and change the world with your voice. Our programs connect you with faculty at the forefront of their fields, introduce you to a global network of leaders, and help you step into your full potential. The next chapter is yours. Let us help you write it. Apply today to accelerate your future. Learn more at hbs.me/accelerate. That's hbs.me/accelerate. I've been trying to say yes more to little adventures. Nothing huge, just getting out of the routine and going somewhere different for the day. And it really makes you appreciate having a car that feels solid and comfortable, where you're not thinking about the drive, you're just focused on where you're going. That's what stood out to me about the Defender. It has that rugged design, but it also feels really thoughtful inside. And I like that there's a full lineup, from the 2-door 90 to the 110 and the 130 with seating for up to 8. So it really fits different kinds of plans.
And it's built with those durable, purposeful materials so you can actually use it without worrying about every little thing. It also has features that make driving feel easier, like ClearSight technology and the Pivot Pro system, so you can keep track of where you're going and everything you want to listen to along the way. Plus, with up to 89 cubic feet of cargo space and available 3 rows, it gives you a lot of flexibility depending on what you're bringing with you. Explore the full Defender lineup at LandRoverUSA.com.
I always feel like August is a good time to reset before the fall season, which is so busy. I don't necessarily want a whole new wardrobe. I just want a few pieces that make getting dressed easier. That is why I have become such a fan of Quince. Their clothes are beautifully made, timeless, and they feel like the kind of pieces you reach for again and again.
Quince works directly with ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen, so everything is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Their premium stretch denim starts at just $50, and they also have beautiful bedding, all kinds of stuff for your home and travel. Gretchen, I got Jack a set of luggage from Quince, and he loves it. Upgrade your everyday. Go to quince.com/Gretchen for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada and the UK too. That's QUINCE.com/Gretchen for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Gretchen. Okay, Gretch, we are back. What have you been meaning to tell me?
Okay, I had this moment. You will realize how out of character this is for me and how I felt like I was playing a character. So one of my favorite books from childhood is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I love so many of her books. Secret Garden, Little Princess, Little Lord Fauntleroy, T. Tenenbaum, which nobody's read except for me, but I love.
I haven't read
Nobody's
that.
read it. It's an adult book. It's like Little Lord Fauntleroy, only for adults, and I just love it. It's actually out of print. You have to get one of those strange editions where they reprint. Love T. Tenenbaum. If you are Frances Hodgson Burnett, you will love it. It's all of her same themes, just retold. So, we've got this weekend house, and I love moss. I love grass and flowers growing out of a stone wall, and I also love moss. So I was noticing this patch that had some moss, but then some didn't have moss. So I thought, okay, well, let me look this up. and it was covered with pine needles. The advice I got was move some of those pine needles because it's interfering with the moss growth. I'm there on my hands and knees. I am just sweeping up the pine needles with my hands and then like carrying them off and dumping them in a far off corner, getting a little, water and watering the moss. And I just felt like Mary in The Secret Garden, where she had no idea what she was doing. She was just sort of instinctively weeding because the plants seemed so crowded they needed to breathe. And just there tinkering around on her little secret garden. And I just felt exactly like that. I understood that pleasure of, here's these little plants. Let me help them along their way with their little plant fates.
I can picture this so clearly, you doing this. Mm-hmm. I love that, Gretch. That seems just so nice and joyful.
But here's the thing. I did it for maybe 20 minutes, half an hour. And then I'm like, okay, that's enough. I don't see myself doing this much. I realize, Elizabeth, I have this weird thing where if I am not reading, writing, or talking to someone, I feel like I'm wasting my time. Not like it is a waste of time. I should be doing something else with my time. I should be reading, writing, or talking to somebody. And I need to move along quickly to be doing one of those activities. And I think that's part of why I have to do the Met every day and watercolor every day that I don't have an evening activity. Because when I make that rule, then that goes on my list of things that I need to do. But I realize a reason that I don't do a lot of things, like cooking, say, if I were cooking, I would really have this feeling like you should really be reading, writing, or talking to somebody. Why are you cooking?
Interesting. Well, see, if you listen to audiobooks more, you could listen to an audiobook while cooking.
Okay, so maybe that's not a good example. Maybe I just don't like cooking because I don't even think I would do that. I wouldn't want to talk to somebody while I was cooking. No, I wouldn't want to do that. Okay, so I just don't want to cook. But
yes,
would I clear moss? I don't know. I kind of don't think so.
Interesting.
I don't know.
What about when you're kayaking?
I make the kayaking something that I have to do every time. Isn't that interesting? I have to do it every day or else I just feel like I won't do it. And the reason that I won't do it is because I should be reading, writing, or talking to somebody.
Now, I will say, Gretch, I would add to that list exercising. Don't you also feel like exercising is something you...
Yes, I do feel like exercising. That's a good point. Yes, reading, writing, talking to somebody, or exercising, or kayaking, watercoloring, or going to the Met. Yes.
Those are the things.
Or taking a nap. I also take a nap every day if I can. Maybe I need to rethink this.
But the thing that you captured, though, this moment of being in the secret garden.
Yes.
That's very transcendent to capture a moment like that.
I felt myself inhabiting that atmosphere.
Yeah.
That feeling of being someplace all by yourself. I mean, I got a little bit of advice about the pine needles, but not really knowing what I was doing what seemed right for the plants, just wanting to encourage them to grow in kind of this extremely amateurish, but also sort of dreamy, beautiful way to engage with nature. And I do love moss. Moss is amazing. Even if it was just something that happened one time, I enjoyed it.
Well, if it happens again, let me know. I'm curious. Okay, Gretch, what is our quotation this week?
This comes from James Salter, his book, Burning the Days. Sometimes you are aware when your great moments are happening, and sometimes they arise from the past. Perhaps it's the same with people.
Love it.
So, Elizabeth, are you feeling happier?
I am feeling happier. Thank you to Chuck. Bye, Gretch.
Bye, Elizabeth. The best time to start a happiness project is 20 years ago. The second best time is now.
So here's my question. When you're in the Met, do you ever get the feeling like you're from the Mixed Up Files?
I don't get the feeling that I'm from the Mixed Up Files, but I will often think of like ways they should pay tribute to the Mixed Up Files. You know that I think they should have a permanent installation of a violin case and backpacks for them in some corner as if we had just found them.
Yes.
I think they should have special plaques for the thing. A lot of the things that are in the book aren't there anymore, but a few of them are there. So I'll often think about that, but I don't feel like I'm like them. But when I go into the bathroom, I often think about the fact of how they hid in the bathroom. So it definitely influences the atmosphere of the Met for me, but I don't feel like I'm hiding out in the Met.
Okay. Interesting.
NFL football season is here, which means when you switch to Verizon, it feels like touchdown. Because you get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube on us when you buy an eligible 5G phone on select unlimited plans, which means you can watch every out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. And it's all on us. Now that's the Verizon way to kick off the NFL football season right. Switch and get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube on us, only with Verizon.